Hello, we're the Songmakers. You'll never see us, but you'll be hearing us and our songs on March 12th over the NBC TV network. First of all, I'd like to introduce my co-writer, Diane Lampert. Diane?
Hello, Pete. And I would like to introduce David Saxon, who makes our music.
Hello, Diane. Hello, Pete. And now I bring you back to Pete, who started the whole thing.
As we said, on March 12th over the NBC TV network, we're presenting the premiere performance of a musical theater version of Stephen Vincent Benet's beloved story, O'Halloran's Luck. You know, there's never been a story quite like O'Halloran's Luck any more than there ever was a man quite like Tim O'Halloran, or like Art Carney, for that matter, who'll be playing him. And certainly there's never been luck like Tim O'Halloran had. For Tim's lucky charm wasn't a rabbit's foot or a gypsy glass or a four-leaf clover, but a genuine leprechaun by the name of Rory. And Rory is going to be played by a puppet created specially by Bill Baird. Now, this leprechaun and O'Halloran got transplanted to the wild waste prairies of Western America nearly a century ago. And luck, as Tim O'Halloran discovered, can come in strange ways. More of that in a moment. But now I was going to say that we believe this program is adaptable for homework viewing. And it certainly is, having history, geography, and social studies all wrapped up in it. But as well as these, it has something else. That something else is the sound of laughter. Laughing. Everyone's breaking up here.
That's Diane.
Granted now, you don't study laughter as a subject in your school, but it might be a good idea if all of us always remember that it was laughter, just as much as blood and sweat and tears, that forged this country out of the wilderness that it was. And it is laughter, too, that keeps the country going. And that's why we're telling you about the program here, in fact, as much as for any other reason. But rather than just tell you the story, I'd like to take you backstage, which is where we do our kind of a homework, and let you hear this musical theater version of O'Halloran's Luck exactly the way, or pretty close to the way at least, we auditioned it for the producer, Perry Cross, Art Carney, of course, NBC, Bill and Cora Baird, and who else is there?
Oh, yes, Miss Barbara Cook, our leading lady, who is also leading lady of Broadway's Music Man.
Yeah, let's not forget that she was leading lady in Candy, too, Leonard Bernstein's show.
Well, we auditioned it for them and for all the
now
rest.
Now
Mark
for everyone
Dan was the
who's
director.
listening.
And if you will listen closely now, you'll be hearing the music that no one on the outside has ever heard before. There's not going to be any of the grand sounds of the full orchestra and chorus like you'll be hearing on March 12th with Henry René and his orchestra. For this is the sound of the songs at their very beginning, when lyrics, melody, and the play itself are very first fused together to create what we call the score. And with O'Halloran's Luck, we're all shooting for a full theatrical score rather than just some odds and ends of music to go along with the story. That means tying it very closely with A.J. Russell's book.
Oh, yes, a little about A.J. You know, he won 3 Emmys, and I hope with any luck that our show will be his next Emmy.
Keep my fingers crossed.
So have I. We're going to run through the score now from the top. David, are you ready over there? That's Clearing of the Throat by David Saxon.
All singers do that.
We'll run through the score from the top, and we'll briefly sketch the story as A.J. dramatized it for the show. Since it's practically a show business tradition for songwriters to have the worst voices in the human race...
And I'm not going to disappoint anybody, Peter.
Well, we're not going to break with the tradition here either. We 3 sing in about 3 different keys and all of them flat, so you'll have to put up with us until you hear Art Carney and Barbara Cook in the chorus do these songs on the show. Then maybe we ourselves will know what our music sounds like. David?
Yes.
You picked it up from the Leprechaun theme on the teaser.
Those are the leprechauns.
Yeah, Diane's giggling.
The story begins back in Ireland during the days of the Great Potato Famine, which you may have heard about before, when many of the Irish were leaving their land to come to America. They'd packed up what little they had, and they went their sad way over the sea. But with Tim O'Halloran, it was a different story. He had nothing at all to pack but the clothes on his back, and his luck, if ever he could find his luck. And when the curtain goes up on our show, that's what we find Tim O'Halloran doing, looking for his luck. Which for him means searching for the wee folk, the little ones, the leprechauns, by the light of the moon in a forest glade. Now, thanks to Bill Baird's marionettes, you'll be seeing those leprechauns and hearing them too. though O'Halloran, search as he may, can neither see them nor hear them. After trying for a time, he gives up the search with a shrug and saunters away. But as he goes off, an old and very grumpy leprechaun steps out and shakes his fist after him, and he says, "Go on if you will, Tim O'Halloran, but bear it well in mind. Whenever an Irishman's leaving his land, he's leaving his luck behind."
That's Beethoven.
When next we see O'Halloran, he's dropped into the local pub or tavern to have one last goodbye drink with the boys. But he's very anxious to get to America, not only to find his luck, but to find his girlfriend, Kitty Malone, who's gone on some time before him. But the men laugh at him, and they taunt him about leaving Ireland.
If only a mother could only see, she raised her little boy to be an immigrant. O'Halloran's an immigrant. Once an Irishman crosses the sea, there's only one thing that he can be, an immigrant. Oh, O'Halloran says you're ignorant. Once an Irishman crosses the sea, there is no end to the things that he can be. Every little boy can be president, can be president, can be president of the United States of America, land of the free. Every little boy can be Washington, Georgie Washington, Tommy Jefferson, and Abe Abraham, good old honest Abe, presidents they all grew up to be. I'll chop me down a cherry tree and never tell a lie, and build me a log cabin if I am to qualify.
Go on and let me be an Irish president.
Every little boy can be president, can be president, can be president of the United States of America, land of the free. Every little boy can be president, every little boy can be president, every little boy can be president, why not me?
And David, no insult to your singing, but when Art Carney sings it, I think every little boy is going to feel like he can become president.
I'm quite thrilled when he sings it.
Yes.
Well, from here we take Art Carney, by that we mean Tim O'Halloran, to the mansion in Boston.
Did he go by
Kitty
boat?
Malone, yes, they go by boat.
Oh, a little
Where-
animated boat.
Oh, it's a little animated boat.
I mean, it's
isn't
an
it?
animated map, I'm sorry.
All right.
Lost your head.
One way or another, by animation or otherwise, they get to Boston, where Kitty Malone works and where O'Halloran finds her scrubbing the stairs of this great mansion. And there, O'Halloran must summon up the best of his blarney, and he turns it on her employer, a very elderly dowager, who is very much taken in by Tim and offers him a job on her husband's railroad in the West.
But we only have an hour.
Yes,
Well, we get him out to the West very quickly. And Kitty is deeply upset with O'Halloran's leaving so soon after he has arrived, but hoping to find his fortune and his eternal luck in the West, Tim accepts the job. He soothes Kitty's feelings by promising her a stairway of her own to scrub and some other things as well.
I'll never forget how this song was written, where on one of the snowiest and most miserable days in January, if you remember, I was at the hotel, and there's no way I could possibly get out, and there's no way that Peter and Diane could get out, but I got a call. They had finished a lyric on Cheeks of My Roses, and the excitement over the phone was so enthusiastic that I just had to get out of the hotel and go through piles and mountains of snow and get to our workroom on 57th Street.
You had to leave Hollywood for that, huh?
Yes, we left. But there was so much warmth going on that when I saw the lyric, I fell in love with the song. And it was written right then and there with all three of us just sitting there. Give me cheeks for my roses, a rosy, rosy red, and I'll give a shoulder to rest your pretty head, two lips for my kisses, so cherry, cherry sweet, and I'll give you music to dance away your feet. Here's a golden wish and a silver dream and a star or two I picked for you. Wish my golden wish, dream my silver dream, and my stars your eyes are wearing. Dare I dream, they say, you're caring. Dare I wish that all my dearest dreams may all come true, with a ring for a finger, a bridegroom for a bride, and cheeks for my roses will bloom by my side.
He now duets in this with Kitty.
Here's a golden wish I'm wishing, and a silver dream I'm dreaming, and a star or two I've picked for you. Wish my golden wish I'm wishing, dream my silver dream I'm dreaming, and my stars your eyes are wearing. Dare I dream, they say, you're caring. Dare I wish that all my dearest dreams may all come true, with a ring for a finger, a bridegroom for a bride, and cheeks for my roses will bloom by my side.
From Boston, we follow a Halloran west, and we find him working very, very hard on a railroad gang. You may remember at this time they're driving the railroad through across the country, and O'Halloran.
Well, it mentioned the
sounds of the spikes.
The sounds
Hammer.
of the
You're going to
spikes
hear the
instead
sounds
of
of
words.
the hammer, the sounds of the spikes against the railroad, the sounds of the hammers against the railroad spikes, and all the activity of the men working on this enormous project, the greatest that America ever seen. David, take it.
What you do on Monday? Digging in the baba dirt. What you do on Monday? Digging till the baba hurts. What you do on Tuesday? Drilling on a rock from break of day. We break our back a drilling round that clock. What you do on Wednesday? Cussing in the heat. What you do on Thursday? Cussing both your feet. What you do on Friday? Laying on the track through muck and mud. We dig and drag and drive and drill from here to hell and back. On Saturday you get your pay. Hooray, hooray for Saturday. You clank, you clink, you snort, you drink, you pay. Away. What you do on Sunday? Sunday is a day of rest. What you do on Sunday? Dress up in your Sunday best. But all we do on Sunday, in this while I'm womanless West, is patch our pants and scratch our backs and black our boots and shoot the bull and say our prayers and don our socks and fill the kettle full for what you do on Sunday. What you do on Sunday? On Sunday we all wash our shirts. On Sunday we all wash our shirts for looking pretty Monday. Digging in the dirt.
This that you're hearing now will be ballet.
On Saturday you get your pay. Hooray, hooray for Saturday. You drink, you snort, you drink, you think you pay. Away. What you do on Sunday? Sunday is a day of rest. What you do on Sunday? Dress up in your Sunday best. But all we do on Sunday, in this while I'm womanless West, is patch our pants and and scratch our backs and black our boots and shoot the bull and say our prayers and don our socks and fill the kettle full for what you do on Sunday. What you do on Sunday? On Sunday we all wash our shirts. On Sunday we all wash our shirts for looking pretty Monday. Digging in the 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Dirt! Can I have my blood now?
But for all of O'Halloran's working, and the strangeness and the loneliness of the West brought back the black mood to him, and so he spent most of his time in brawling and fighting, or spending the little money that he earned on the poteen, or the whiskey. One night, after fighting the foreman to a standstill, Tim went down to a creek to wash off the marks of the battle, and he hears a little voice calling out, "Hoo-boo, hoo-boo," like that. And O'Halloran searched for the cause of it, and there he discovers a genuine leprechaun, being a bedraggled one. And that, when you watch the show, will be our first act ending. We're going to continue through now, without a rest, unless you need one, David.
No commercials? You talk.
And we come back to our little leprechaun, and he's singing a very strange and very melancholy little song.
Hoo-boo, hoo-boo. Is it hoo-boo-boo, hoo-boo, a boo-boo, hoo-boo, boo-boo, boo-hoo, oh, hoo-boo? Would's that I had me a tear, I would cry. Would's that I had me a heart, I would sigh. Poor little me, poor, poor little I, poor little Rory. If I hadst me a laugh, I would go ha ha. If I hadst me a song, I would go tra-la. If I hadst me a tear, I would go hoo-boo, hoo-boo. Or is it boo-hoo? I wish I knew. Does the who go before the boo, a boo before the who? Is it who, boo, 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 hoo? Oh, who, boo, boo.
With that last boo, O'Halloran catches him. And O'Halloran thinks that he's found his luck at last, for according to tradition, you may remember, if you catch a leprechaun, you can demand from him his pot of gold. And so he does this of this leprechaun. But Rory, the leprechaun, has used his gold for a sea passage to America. And worse than that, he has had a curse put on him by St. Patrick, which will stay with him until he serves the servant of servants in a land at the end of the world. So instead of taking care of O'Halloran, O'Halloran now must take care of Rory.
Is it hoo boo boo hoo boo a boo boo hoo boo 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 hoo oh hoo boo? Would's that I had me my pot full of gold? Would's that I had me my castles of old? Poor little Rory out in the cold. Got no luck and got no gold, and what is worse, I got his curse. No curse is worse than a curse I've got. What's worse, I got no pot.
In order to take care of Rory, he has to get Rory a job. In order to get Rory a job, he has to shave off Rory's long white beard, and passes him off as his nephew, and does succeed in getting him work as a water boy on the railroad gang.
David is making the water sounds now.
Yeah, we're getting ready for the water sprite.
Rory promises to be no trouble at all, but the opposite proves to be the case. The whole camp is set in an uproar by an epidemic of sheer mischief like they've never seen before. The men also suspect O'Halloran and gang up on him.
Well, here I am singing for 10 people, so...
And you forgot to mention the number, Pete. It's called Shenanigans.
Oh, yes, it's called Shenanigans.
I'm glad you mentioned
it. It's an
that,
old Irish
otherwise
word for
I
mischief,
could have
you may
gone
remember.
through it.
All right. Did I preface before we start the song that this was the hardest song for us to write?
It sure was.
So it'll probably be the hardest one for us to sing. Could you call out the
All right, I'll
the
call
names,
out the different
Pete?
Yeah, a lot of
names.
different people
Best we
singing
can
different
here.
things at times, so if Peter drowns me out, you're very lucky. Who, who is the hooligan full of shenanigans, shenanigans? Who is the hooligan full of shenanigans, shenanigans?
Finnegan says,
Is a gentleman here by the name of O'Halloran.
O'Halloran.
Is a Finnegan a speaking me name? For the 44th time, there's a toad of me tea again.
Rory.
Finnegan is fib and any fool can see 'tis a frog, not a toad in Finnegan's tea.
And O'Halloran says, yeah, Finnegan is fib and any fool can see 'tis a frog, not a toad in Finnegan's tea. Who is the hooligan full of shenanigans? And the foreman says, and who shook the salt shaker into the sugar? Who's the chorus slipped the lizards in me bed? And who broke me favorite pipe blowing pretty little bubbles? Who's the little angel? Tell me
ho.
who stuck his sticky little fingers into the glue? And a man is standing stuck to the chair. Who is the hooligan full of shenanigans? Who is the hooligan full of shenanigans?
Now, O'Halloran sees that he's outnumbered, and the only thing he can do is to mollify these people, and he turns them gradually now, into one great big barbershop quartet.
And giggle when the salt is in the sugar.
In the sugar.
Laugh off all the lizards in your bed.
In your bed.
Smile when your favorite pipe gets broken. It's a token of good fellowship instead. And who took me watch right out of me pocket? Who put rheumatism back on me back? Who took me? And who took me? Sorry.
Do it again, Dave. Go on. And who took me? Go on.
Pick it up, David. Go
Up
ahead.
there?
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Yeah,
And who
pick it
took
up.
me this picture out of me locket? Who's the little angel?
Tell me ho.
Who dunked the skunk in the mulligan stew?
Pew.
Who is the hooligan full of shenanigans? Who is the hooligan full of shenanigans? O'Halloran says giggle when the salt is in the sugar. In the sugar. Laugh off all the lizards in your bed. In your bed. Smile when your favorite pipe gets broken. It's a token of good fellowship instead. It's a token of good fellowship instead. They all beat up O'Halloran.
They giggle and smile and laugh as they're doing
they're
it.
beating up, and little Rory just sits there.
Goo.
Well, that was a result of all of Rory's mischief. O'Halloran begins to find his luck, although he doesn't even know that it is his luck. For he's kept so busy watching Rory that there's no time for him to drink, and as a result of that, he saves his money for the first time in all of his life. He's not at all grateful to Rory for this, however, and threatens Rory, even denies him the use of his razor for a few days. But Rory, to change the subject, tells O'Halloran of the trouble the gang is going to have a few miles down the line, when they will, according to Rory, run into a series of springs in the railroad's right-of-way. Only half believing him, Tim tells the foreman of this, and suggests that they swing the track a mile to the north. The foreman warns Tim that if he's wrong, he'll be fired. On the other hand, if Tim is right, he will be made a foreman. We go back to Boston for a moment or two now, and we find that Kitty's parents are tired of her waiting for that ne'er-do-well O'Halloran, and they're trying to marry her off to an Orangeman who has a secure job on the horse cars. Kitty will have none of the Orangemen, of course, and Mr. Malone decides to tell her that Tim has been killed in the West. At the same time that he tells her this, he's going to write a letter to Tim,
He's a cat.
telling her that Kitty is going to be married. We go back west again.
Oh, could I just interrupt here and say that the father, Mr. Malone, is played by Pat Harrington, so it's not as
Pat
heavy
Harrington
as...
Sr.
Senior, yes.
Oh, the father.
Well, Pat Harrington Jr. can be father. A
You
father,
better not hear
in this
that,
play.
David. All right.
And back in the wilds of the Kansas, anyway, Rory is put to it now to prove his prediction. He gathers together some of the other leprechauns who have also migrated to America, and they all conjure up an American water sprite and make him produce the springs of water that they need. Now, will you give us a little of that sprite ballet there, David?
And incidentally, this is used, throughout the show with the map. Where the water sprites spout out of the map.
Yes, except that it's a little ballet that Bill Baird does with his marionettes.
Mm-hmm.
And the craziest looking water sprite I've ever seen in my life.
Yes,
Yes.
did you ever see
So
with his
on.
little bagpipes?
Yes.
But they succeed in getting these springs of water, and the surveyor, of course, finds Tim's warning to be true. And Tim is promoted to a foreman of his own gang, and O'Halloran rejoices in his good luck. We reprise that What You Do on Sunday there, David.
You can talk over it. I don't mind.
But he doesn't know, of course, that Mr. Malone's bad news is on its way to him from Boston. That's our second act curtain. And when we come back to the scene, Tim now has reverted to his old type and is brawling as never before. When he is about to be fired...
Is that called the black... Excuse me, Pete, is that called the black mood?
The black mood, yes. It comes back over him again. But when he's about to be fired, Rory takes Mr. Malone's letter to the foreman and explains matters to him. And the foreman, a very understanding man, grants Tim a leave of absence to go back to Boston to see what Tim can do. As Tim starts to go, Rory tells him that he wants to come along also. For if Kitty refuses to accept him, O'Halloran's luck, Rory warns, will leave him forever. Tim agrees, and the two set out for Boston. David, we come up on that next scene theme, which is Cheeks for My Roses.
You're playing the wrong song, David. Could you sing a little bit of that, David? It's my favorite song, please.
Kitty's singing this.
Yeah.
Looking out the window, heartbroken. Give me cheeks for my roses, a rosy, rosy red, and I'll give a shoulder to rest my pretty head.
Lips for your kisses, so cherry, cherry sweet, and we'll make sweet music to dance away our feet.
And just when the tide is at its lowest ebb, when Kitty feels her deepest sorrow, O'Halloran himself comes bounding in with the good news that he's returned and all is going to be well again. Not only does Kitty accept him, but she accepts Rory as well, though we must admit it takes a bit of a struggle on her part to do so. And with her acceptance, though, the conditions of Rory's curse are fulfilled, and he is granted a Christian soul at last.
Why is it fulfilled?
Well, you see, he asks O'Halloran if he's going to marry the girl, and O'Halloran says, of course he is. And then Rory says, are you going to serve this woman as your wife?
Curse.
And he says, why, of course I am. Every husband serves his wife. And Rory asks, well, now, did your wife, or she who is to be your wife, did she ever work in domestic service? And he says, why, yes, she did, but what's wrong with that? He says, nothing at all, but please command me to tie your shoelace. And so O'Halloran commands him to tie his shoelace, and he does so, and then with a great cry and a leap, the curse is suddenly off him because he has served the servant of servants.
Wonderful. I felt like I was just back in school again in the good old days. Thank you, teacher.
Okay. Kitty's parents are reluctant to accept O'Halloran, but he not only shows them the money he has saved, but blindies them up into a patriotic froth with assurances of how the whole land is going green, throwing his money about as he leads them into this song.
Green will grow the laughter in your eyes forever after when you see green growing at your door, growing greener than it ever grew before. For I've seen, yes, I've seen the whole land's going green, going green from shore to shore. Green we'll all be wearing, and our luck we'll all be sharing in this new land greener than the old, where the sun's just a great big pot of gold. Mix the blue of the sky with the gold of the sun to get the green to growing greener at your feet. And grandly we stand in this green growing land, where the ends of the world all meet. For I've seen, yes, I've seen, the whole land's going green, going green.
Well, that's the show as it was when we first auditioned it, or just about, as we said. And we're, of course, going to be a little more polished by the time March 12th comes around, I do believe. But we hope this has given you some idea of how one of America's greatest short stories is being transformed into musical theater for television. We hope, too, that this and the program itself on March 12th will prove of value to you in your homework assignments. So we'll be seeing you then with Art Carney, Bill and Cora Baird's marionettes, Miss Barbara Cook, with all the company, the chorus, and the orchestra directed by Henry Renee, on O'Halloran's Luck over NBC TV in color, Sunday evening, March the 12th.
Green will grow the laughter in your eyes forever after when you see green growing at your door, growing greener than it ever grew before. For I've seen, yes, I've seen the whole land's going green, going green from shore to shore.
Everybody.
Green we'll all be wearing, and our luck we'll all be sharing in this new land greener than the old, where the sun's just a great big pot of gold. Mix the blue of the sky with the gold of the sun to get the green to growing greener at your feet. And grandly we stand in this green growing land where the ends of the world all meet. For I've seen, yes, I've seen the whole land's going green, going.